Hi everybody, welcome to the Jexo PM72 Summit. My name is Peter, Tölgyesi Péter, as we say it in Hungary, and I'm one of the owners of EverIT and the leader of the Atlassian business unit here. I've been working for more than a decade for EverIT as a project manager, and I'm responsible mainly for software development and consultancy projects. And in the last 4 years, my focus was on the Atlassian stack, the Atlassian ecosystem, as head of the consultancy and product team. So that's me. And first of all, I would like to address a few technical information. As you can see, this is a recorded session, but you will have the opportunity to ask questions or give us feedback regarding the topic at the after party. So we are preparing product demonstrations as well, and you can get more technical details later. In this approximately 30 minutes, we try to focus mainly on the methodology part of the project controlling aspects. But before we begin, I would like to invite you a little game. We used skins and screenshots from Stanley Kubrick's movies throughout the presentation. Not from all movies though, and the challenge for you is to find out which one are left out. Write us these titles of these movies to this email address, pm72@everit.biz, and for every correct title you will get a 5% discount for any of our apps that any users use. Okay, I'll give you one hint. We have left out 4 of his movies, 4. So if you guess correctly all of them, or 4, you will get a discount of 20%. Now, let's begin presentation properly. And right away, a very exciting or maybe a very uncomfortable question. I myself have gotten this question many times as well. And to be honest, it was quite complicated to answer it sometimes, especially if you want to give a proper answer, supported with figures and measured data. And the question, how certain are you that your last project was profitable? It's not that easy, right? Let me rephrase this question. Whom of you finds it difficult to divide the expenses between your inner projects and create reports based on them, for example, the accounting team? What do you need to answer these questions, not based on mere hunches and guesses, but on valid and measurable data? In this presentation, we will guide you through what to look out for when costs or resources will be the flexible item in the triangle of project management. And as with any moving parts, you need to take care it won't go beyond a certain threshold. This question has been on our minds since the foundation of the company for the last 40 years now. So let's share our experience accumulated over this period for you. So I would like to present my company to you first. And I brought a photo to you. It's about our team from around 10 years ago. We took this photo during a Christmas party. And here, oh, sorry, this is not our team. Yeah, that's it. This is Team EverIT. As you can see, we have some old-timers around, and I'm extremely proud of this team. I tried to have this photo almost all of my presentation. So how did project controlling become that important for such a company? Let me share you a story. When we started EverIT, it was quite typical setup, and we can see similar situation nowadays as well, that we had to deal with multiple projects overlapping in time with no dedicated team on each of them. That's a challenge from the organizer's perspective, but from controlling wise as well. It was not easy to identify the actual costs belonging to one project to another. So we wanted to set up a measurable method, and we have put some serious energy to create such a project control system. Actually, the first Jira app idea was coming from that initiative too. The evolution of the company happened in parallel with this. In the beginning, we had mainly outsourcing projects where tight bookkeeping of time spent on projects was very critical. That is how the seed of what is now the time tracker app was planted, as we needed a time tracker ourselves. It was not a marketplace app then, but how could it be, as this was before Atlassian marketplace came into existence. So it's been a while. Then, throughout the years, the portfolio of EverIT changed, and we switched focus from providing IT services to product development. Even Time Tracker found its way to the nicely developing marketplace. And here we are, having become silver vendors this year and shifting our focus with our portfolio more and more towards product development. And at the moment, we have 9 marketplace apps. And Time Tracker, our main product, is available on all platforms. Server, on data center, and on cloud as well. And our 9 apps have altogether more than 3,000 installations, which makes us extremely proud. Because that means that we have managed to help many organizations to digitalize their work processes, which is truly our mission. Okay, now we can get into dive the technological architecture of these apps. Oh, sorry, I think I've changed presentation. I think it's time to get back our original topic, which is project controlling, right? But if you wish, I can tell a lot more about our apps during the after party. Okay, we are back on track. And let's take a look at what factors into the expenses of a company that have effects on project budgets as well. There's a lot to keep in mind related to cost of a project. And the general school of thought is here, the division of costs of goods sold on the right, and basically every other cost called selling, general and administrative costs on the other side. And this list is generally true for each and every enterprise, no matter the field they operate in. But obviously the weight of all these cost items is different based on company profiles and verticals. So the attention of a controller should shift based on it as well. The Pareto principle of 2080 is also relevant in this case, as only 20% of circumstances will be responsible for 80% of costs. These are the circumstances that we need to keep an eye on. And the Pareto principle is even more stronger in the case of costs related to work time and labor costs. This might come as a surprise, but a research published in 2021 by Paycor, a global HR solution provider, showed that wage-related costs make up 70% of the expenses of a company. And that number can go up to even 90% in the case of software development, for example. That's a pretty huge share, right? So it's no wonder that we ourselves, as a software development company, put a lot of effort into effective work time management solutions and started to deal with the question of project controlling. So let's show you what you need to effectively manage and control your work time. So, tracking labor costs. How to do that? First, you will need a good task and project management software to effectively organize your work. You don't have to take a look. I can recommend one. It's called Jira. Next, you need to set up and use the software in a way that can be integrated in your accounting. So project hierarchies is very important. And then you will need a tool that enables to log work spent on different projects and tasks, and that can also create reports from them. In summarize, you will need a good time tracker app. So, of course, we need to put a few side notes here. Project controlling has a few aspects we won't be able to cover here, as time logs provide only a basic metrics. From a cost view, the seniority level of an employee working on a project matters a lot. Or the methods we use to calculate the cost centers for an employee also raise a lot of questions which we won't answer here. Or even what you need to measure to be able to get an exact number, not just a ballpark estimate, which the controllers will believe or not. For example, what's the ratio of billable and to non-billable hours, so we can calculate overhead, but the basis for all is the correct logging and measurement of the work logs. And for that, you need to collect these work logs from your employees through time tracking. At this point, I think it's wise to stop and take a bit wider glance into the benefits of tracking work time in a company. They are important because we need to know what we want to focus on when implementing such a system and the way we communicate it in-house. So apart from seeing profitability on the controlling side, time tracking can benefit you through accurate employee time entry and payroll, so you can even out workload between coworkers. For time and material only or only clients, the time tracking process ensures that invoicing will be accurate. And with time tracking on repeated tasks, you can create a benchmark for efficiency and productivity improvements. And in the continuous learning process, the estimation and planning accuracy will become measurable, which is the basis of an improvement, I think. So these can give you important market advantages in certain situations. We also need to come to face with the fact that time tracking may not be 100% popular at the beginning with the colleagues. It's a fact that very useful insights can come up by using a time tracker, and the most eager employees, those who want to improve, they will probably welcome it, but there are certain real or imaginary fears that we need to address. There are two typical fears we feel we have to mention and be ready to dissolve these fears by proper communication within the organization. So first is fear of being monitored. Second is fear of being micromanaged in the future. After dealing with these worries, we recommend following a checklist like this when introducing the time tracker into the company so that it can be a success story for you. First, establish the goals of time tracking. Identify how a time tracker will help you in organizing processes. Understand your current environment. Consider how your needs might change in the future. Design the process and guidelines. Pick a solution, an app that matches your needs. And be aware that the tool in itself won't save the world, but a wrong choice can cause a lot of pain for you in the long run. Communicate the change to your employees. This is number 6, and this is the key, I think. And start using the tool, all the while monitoring and adjusting it to match your company's evolving needs. Now, let's take a look at the issue of time tracking inside the Atlassian ecosystem as well. It is a delicate issue because choosing an extension to Jira becomes a necessity almost instantly. Jira is an excellent tool for a lot of uses, but Time Tracker is the exception that fortifies the rule. It just wasn't built for that. And it doesn't mean that time tracking with Jira is a lost case, as there are plenty of plugins available in the Atlassian marketplace. But since Atlassian never seemed to consider this as an important area in their development plans, there's been a lot of competing time tracker apps on the marketplace in the past 10 years. Happy birthday, Atlassian marketplace, by the way. So, the challenge here is how to navigate through this ocean and find the best solution to your needs. But how to do that? Luckily, being meticulous about will help. Selecting the right app is not easy. In our case, the time tracking controlling category, the marketplace lists about 300 different plugins. Even by filtering to more relevant keywords, we elected several dozens on the list. It's pretty unrealistic to try out this many apps in a short period of time. So let me demonstrate what I mean. So here are some things to look out for when comparing the apps on the marketplace. How many downloads, installs does an app have? If this number is low, ask yourself the question. If you want to become a beta tester, helping it through its trial steps. If an app has proven to a few hundred or even a few thousand companies, you can be more sure that these types of problems have been ironed out. The hopefully positive opinion of the customers is always important for an app, or about the support the vendor provides for it. And you can find information about it in the reviews. The question of security is also very important, especially if it's a cloud application. Atlassian itself usually doesn't have guarantees for third-party plugins, but apps with cloud security or cloud fortified badges are sure to be able to pass an even more thorough security checkup. And it's also worth mentioning the version update frequency of an application. There is no base rule here, but apps updated less frequent than, let's say, 6 months or a year probably don't have quick support coverage for them. It's also worth noting that with cloud apps, only the last update time is visible. If, after checking these metrics, you find a manageable amount of apps to try, let's try to test them. Time tracker apps have pretty similar useful features, so let us share a few points to consider. The app should collect plenty of data to be an effective controlling tool, but not too much to burden your employees with unnecessary administrative tasks. Picking up the use of the app should be very easy and intuitive. You might want to avoid having to teach the use of a clunky tool, especially in a big organization. You should have the ability to customize the work of the app to your individual needs. And always make sure that the app you select can be integrated into the other tool set you use. This might not come as a surprise, but we just might have a tool for you. During the continuous development of our time tracker app, we put emphasis on ease of use, so user can log their work in a table-like, in a timeline, or in a calendar view as well. There are other features as well, like detailed reporting, built-in cost tracking, and integration connectors, so time tracker can work together with other marketplace apps. A live demo is, of course, not part of this presentation, but feel free to reach out us in the after party, and we'll be happy to show you details. And back to the question of project controlling. Let's sum up what we talked about. We have a tool that can keep track of projects and can show other cost centers relevant for accounting. This is Jira. We have a tool which helps employees to log time spent on these projects or cost centers quickly and painlessly. For example, the time tracker app of EverIT. Either with the built-in reporting or through integrations like Google Spreadsheet, you can create pivots and statements on the labor costs spread between different projects or cost centers during a given period of time. And by analyzing these reports periodically, we will have control over 70–90% of project-related expenses. And this is how you can make your auditor or accountant become an evangelist or Atlassian inside the company. So what we've got here is a happy auditor. Thank you for your attention, and see you at the after party. If you have any questions or would like to have a product demo, feel free to reach out. You will find the team EverIT at the food truck court. Look at the big green apple and don't forget the quiz. We are expecting the answers to be sent at the PM72@everit.biz email address, and we are looking for the 4 titles of the missing curriculums. Bye.